I wanted to make a video about basically how to hill sprint properly, because it is probably my favorite way to do conditioning. It's great for so many things. You can build muscle in your legs. You become more explosive. It builds your power. It's gonna build your endurance. Even like when I was into like doing spotting races and doing like 5Ks and shit like that, like I never ran. I would only run to like almost do like a test run, but most of my training to get my condition good was always just like sprints or hill sprints. And I like hill sprints a lot better because they're a lot easier on the joints. It's a lot easier to hurt yourself sprinting straight than versus sprinting on a hill, because you have to go slower, and the chances that you're going to overstride and like hyperextend your hamstring is very little. So I'm going to show you a few tips how to sprint properly. I'll talk about some sets and volumes and stuff like that. So you should definitely do a dynamic warm up. Get warm first. And let me just place this down real quick. So when you start a sprint, you don't want to start upright. You want to start bent over at like a 45 here. If you've ever pushed like a sled in the gym, it's very similar like angle with it, which is why sled pushes are so great, because they make you sprint basically properly. So you want to start here, and at least for the first like 10 yards, you want to keep your chest down. That allows you to accelerate faster, and really put a lot of force in the ground, and that is very positive for building power and performance as well as fat loss, because it's going to make the interval a lot more effective. So when I start, I want to bend my elbows at 9 degrees, one forward, one back. Now this is important. Now when you start sprinting with your arms, you pump your arms forward like this as fast as you can. The faster you pump your arms, the faster your legs will move, right? And the more power you produce, and the more effective it will be for fat loss, performance, all the stuff. So when I go and I start my sprint, I want to think like I'm trying to punch the ground away, as hard as I can. So like I've actually done pictures on like Facebook and IG where I show myself sprinting, and what you'll see is that when I'm sprinting, my leg and hip are extended. That allows me to put all my strength into the ground, allows me to cover more distance quickly, build power, and plus, again, it's going to raise my heart rate higher for interval training, so it's better for fat loss too. And I just want, so again, the tip is you want to think about punching the ground away from you. Sometimes you see people doing like sprints on the sled or sprints, they do these small choppy steps, but they never fully extend the hip, the knee, or the ankle, and you're not really going, first of all, you're not really putting as much force into the ground as possible, so it's not really good for fat loss, and it's horrible for performance. So I'm going to pump, keep my chest down, and I'm punching the ground as hard as I can. So I'm going to show you one quick. So I'm here, right? I'm going to go here. So again, that's like a small video, but you want to do that as hard as you can. Now, a couple tips here. If you haven't done this before, don't go as high as you can. Maybe go 80. First couple sessions, go 80, 90%. I would go 6 to 10 sets. So again, if you haven't done this before, don't be a ding-dong and do 10 sets. You're probably going to get hurt. Start with 6, and over time, you'll build up without pulling a hamstring or just kind of feeling beat up. What I like to do, keep the sprints short. They should be short and high quality. So maybe like 5 to 15 seconds. Even 15 seconds is really long for sprinting. What I like to do is use a timer. So time yourself for like 5, 15 seconds, and then just always start in the same place and note where you end. And what this does is you can start to see if you're starting to slow down. If you're covering less distance, you're not going as fast as you did when you first started. So that just means you need to kick into high gear and make sure you're trying to cover the same distance each time. That will make sure that your sprints stay intense. And that's really important, because this is a high intensity workout, where you're going as hard as you can, or close to hard as you can, for again 5 to 15 seconds, and then you're resting for a minute or two to let your heart rate come down. I like hill sprints because it just, a lot of times if you didn't want to, you don't have to time yourself. You can kind of sprint up the hill. By the time you walk down, it's about like a minute, and then you kind of just go again. but super important to make it intense. So I love that tip of track your time and your distance. If your distance starts going down, you know you're starting to slack. You need to kick that into high gear. Again, you don't need a bunch of these. You need do like 6 to 10. And once you get good at these, you'll realize that it's more about high quality versus doing a ton of volume. Now again, this is an awesome weapon for fat loss, awesome weapon for performance, but it can be overused. This is not something you want to do 5 days a week. This is something you want to do one, two, maybe if you're young and you have really good recovery, 3 times a week. Another tip to help you recover better is doing sprints on the same day that you lift weights. That allows more rest days to recover. So say you lift Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you might sprint on Monday, because then Tuesday and Thursday are just like light days, or you're not doing anything, which helps you recover. Again, these are intense workouts, and you can't do intense workouts all the time or you'll probably get hurt, especially if you're older. When you're younger, you can kind of get away with that shit, but as you get older, you get 30, 40, 50, you realize that doing that shit would just kind of beat you up. You'll pull a muscle, you'll feel strained, just a lot of bad stuff. So those are hill sprints. I love them. I think they're the best fat loss tool. I think they're way better than jogging. I prefer, like, just for, like, I guess my happiness and what I like to do, I much rather, sprint hard like 1 or 2 times a week, and then maybe do a daily walk for 20 or 30 minutes a day. It's way better for so many things, from fat loss, from recovery, from performance, from speed, all the stuff. So hopefully you give this a try. If you do give this a try, again, I love hill sprints. Let me know how it goes. I was so happy. I was driving home from the park after I trained people, and I saw a couple young kids doing hill sprints up there, and I was so happy just because it's so good to see people not doing dumb jogging.